Good evening. Welcome in. This is the Philadelphia Soul official pregame show live on Bob Long Sports with Bob Long and Eric Nash. And Eric, we talk about this Philadelphia Soul team. We're back for a second consecutive week at home, and the Soul are still undefeated at 5-0, the top team in the league. Count them.
There you go. Yeah, well, it's getting exciting. And in this city, you would think this is a huge story. I mean, come on. What is there some minor league baseball team that's really successful that I don't know about in this city? Because it's basically, we talk about draft picks and we talk about ping pong balls. There's something really going on here. Right. You got a defending champion who is making an attempt, we think, to run the table, although it's still early days.
Very early, but there's no doubt about it that they're playing at a level above the rest of the league right now. You know, a couple close games, Tampa Bay and Cleveland got an early scare last week from the Baltimore Brigade, who they crushed the week prior. But again, here they sit, top team in the league, and a team at the bottom of the table coming in the Cleveland Gladiators. Now, I think we both think that this team has a lot of talent as a legacy team and a really upstart quarterback in Arvell Nelson, who can do a lot of really good things, and we'll talk more about him as we get into the preview of the matchup itself. But, you know, certainly push the brakes a little bit on the undefeated season, because there's just a game here tonight that the team has to worry about enough. So, but the win last week against Baltimore, just a few more comments on that. A very solid performance once again from Dan Raudabaugh, showing that he is a former MVP and last year's Arena Bowl champion, and a guy that can carry the Soul or any other franchise. We got the opportunity to talk with Dan Raudabaugh after the game last week, and now we'll send you to Dan Raudabaugh, the quarterback of the Philadelphia Soul, after his win over Baltimore.
You know, we played solid 3 quarters. Didn't show up in first. Disappointing. That's not like a veteran team like us. You know, it was 2 games this year. I've thrown an interception and returned to the house on the first play, and I'm a better player than that. Tough situation to put a team in. Proud of us for fighting back, though. You know, once we woke up, I thought we were pretty formidable, so just got started earlier.
How does it feel to grind out a win?
That's 2 in a row, you know. It's been 2 tight games in a row. You know, that's kind of how arena football is. You know, we've been kind of fortunate the last few years to beat the dog out of teams. And, you know, you got to learn how to win these close games, because down the stretch, you know, anything can happen. So, proud of our guys. You know, score for score. You know, I wish we could have got one there before the half and had the 2-for-1 with the starting the third quarter with the ball. But, you know, timely play. Good job, Sean Daniels. Proud of our guys.
A couple drops early for money, but it seemed as if you went right back to them, and that helped the confidence there on both ends.
Yeah, you know, you don't like to see those, but those guys, they do so much for us. You know, this is an offensive game. Those are going to happen every now and then. So if it happens on the next play, you know, we got 4 downs to move the ball, and, you know, we're pretty good even on 4th down. So, you know, it's not like our guys to really drop the ball, but, you know, they made some really good catches in really big times, too, later. So, no confidence lost. Like you said, went right back to them, and, you know, we're going to keep doing that. Even if, you know, all 3 of them drop the ball, we come right back to them.
Dan, what's the mindset in the final few minutes of the game, knowing that the possessions are somewhat limited, and you know that in some ways it's a chess match to figure out who's going to get the last possession?
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, we've got a really good coach who understands how to use the clock well, and we've got a bunch of veteran players in that huddle. We got a veteran back this week in Carvalho, and we got a veteran fullback back there who, you know, knows when to protect the ball and go down and not to score, and when we need to get a first down. So, you know, I told the guys over there with about 2 minutes left when it was going score for score, hey, man, no fear. Have no fear. Let's just go get it and take our time. Whenever we touch it, let's handle ours and have trust in the defense. And, hey, worked out.
Do you think you were just maybe a little overconfident at the beginning of the game, or maybe after the blowout you just really didn't give it your all? You sort of had a rough week of practice, your coach was saying.
You know, I don't think we came out overconfident. I think we came out under enthused a little, maybe a little flat. You know, I think we had a couple penalties that advanced them on 3rd and 4th down when we were on defense that first drive, and then, you know, I throw it right to the guy on the first play, and then we go down there and we couldn't hit water if we fell out of the boat on the next drive. But I mean, like I said, we got veteran guys who aren't going to give up. We got a great coach who instills a lot of confidence in us. He may be screaming a lot, but, you know, he expects high results from us. So I don't think we lost any confidence out there. Like I said, we just came out a little flat, I mean, we don't take anybody lightly. There's only 5 teams, and all 5 teams can play. So we expect everyone's best shot. So we just got to come out with a little more fire under our tail.
You ended on such a high note, so you can carry this into the season.
That's right. And I always tell our guys, you know, one play at a time, one drive at a time, one quarter, one game. So keep it moving.
Dan, through a quarterback's eyes, what did you see that Shane did well on the other side, Shane Carden?
I'll tell you what, that kid, I gave him, we talked a little after the last time we played him. I said, you're looking good. You know, this game is about timing and rhythm. I said, if you see something, you know, you don't always have to take all 5 steps in your drop or something. If you read zone, get the ball out, because, you know, we're trying to expand this game as a whole, not just the soul. I mean, we'd love it if we can win every game and keep winning championships, but this is a wonderful game. And, you know, only 5 teams, there's only 5 quarterbacks playing. And, you know, as they look to expand the game, you know, this is a quarterback-driven league, so it takes guys who know how to pull the trigger, when to pull the trigger, and where to pull the trigger. So, you know, I tried to give him some words of wisdom last week, and he came out and torched us. He threw some really good balls on time. He had really nice touch. And, you know, his guys made good plays for him. You know, a couple, 4th down balls there, 40-yard dimes right on the guy's chest and stride. I'm proud of him. And I didn't see him after the game. I think he went in. He was probably down on himself after that last fumble. But I told their coach and their fullback, I said, go in there and slap that kid on the butt. He's getting better. So we're going to have something for him next time.
There are only 5 teams. Do you know each other off the court? Are you friends with each other?
You know, it is kind of a game where there's not too many rookies who play. It's an interesting sport, whereas it's hard to just go in there and, you know, coach puts you in and to fit to be the right piece to the puzzle, because this game is different. There's nuances to this game that, you know, aren't in the outdoor game that you have to learn and develop. I mean, I've been playing, this is my 8th season, and I'm still learning every play. You know, I'm fortunate to have Coach Dolezel over there who thinks I should know everything, but that's what we need. We need someone to drill it in our heads. But everyone needs to get better. And yeah, you know, we know a bunch of those guys on and off the field. And, you know, in between those lines, it's a battle. There are no friends out there during the game, but, you know, before and after the game, checking up on each other's families. You know, we watch film on every team, so you see someone get hurt, you go ask him how he's doing. You know, we know all the coaches too, so all the tendencies. So, you know, I would expect all these games to be very, very competitive. And, you know,
because there are so few of you.
There's so few.
Possibly more competitive.
Yeah, and, you know, there's 5 pretty solid coaches in the league who are going to have their team in the right spot. And like I said, with the clock management and stuff there, that's what this game's all about. It's about possession.
What happened at the end there? At the end of the game, a little skirmish between some of the guys.
You know, as a team in the lead under the last minute, you have to advance the ball. You have to get forward progress in order for the clock to keep going. We ran a play we call pop. It's where we use our guard to, he leaves the defensive end, and he goes up and blocks the MAC linebacker. And he was trying to finish the block and put him down, and I don't think their MAC took a liking to that. And like I said, we're not friends out there when it's going. And so, I mean, our guys are going to play hard and tenacious, and we expect the other guys to do that, or you know, it's going to be a long day for them. So, no love lost. I'm sure it'll carry on. We'll see them again, and number 8 will be fired up. So, we'll be good.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Quarterback Dan Raudabaugh, Eric, I guess we could say that he was very aware that the struggles in the first quarter were not what were desired by the team. You know, it certainly responded over the course of the game, but it was a struggle early on. Now, we talked before the jump there about this undefeated season, where they are so far. Do you think that some of these close games, and more specifically the slow start that we saw against the Brigade, could that be an issue going forward?
Well, I mean, it's arena football. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Arena football is very much a feast or famine type of game. And then you see a situation where you're 7-8 minutes in and you're down 2 scores.
Yep.
What does that equate to in an NFL game? Down a couple field goals? That's what I'm saying. You know,
right.
If you fall behind when it goes into 20 and 25 points, then you got an issue. At this point, with playing the games and controlling the clock, you get back into it. You know, so I'm not. I think once again the adversity that this creates makes the team ultimately stronger.
Yep.
And you know, maybe the unbelievable is more believable, that they could get there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're gonna. You know, anybody could. Any given Saturday or Sunday, as the case would be, someone can nip you in the bud, and that's what's happening. You know, in arena football all the time. You know, you saw it in the championship game last year,
right?
You know, for that matter. I mean, it's nothing is automatic. You know, and in any sport, but certainly, you know, a sport like this where the ball bounces funny, one ball that's going to be a touchdown off a receiver's fingertip for the soul, ends up in a defender's hand, and you're down 2 scores.
Yep.
Instead of even. That's a, how big is that with a team that averages 60, 65, 70 points a game? I don't know. Probably not that much.
Sure. Yeah. And again, we talked with Dan Raudabaugh, which you just heard. He's a guy that has a really good perspective, I think, on the difficulties of playing the game, making sure that he and his receivers are on the same page. But I agree with you, Eric. They just have way too talented of a wide receiver core with Money Reynolds, Ryan McDaniel, and SK, Sean Kalinamoku. To have any lead be too large. And so you see, especially when they come out and play at home, you get the crowd going. You have Vinny the Crumb, who is imploring the fans to get up and get excited. That's an atmosphere that can be tough to play in for opponents. So I know they've struggled at times with slow starts, not just this year but in the past. And I think that is an issue that perhaps they just need to be more aware of and take steps to address, but I don't think it'll kill them. So I know we always have the opportunity to talk with Clint Dolezel as well after the game. He provides great perspective, and here's his thoughts after last week's game against the Brigade.
And rally from behind.
Yeah, we had to. That's the problem. We had to rally from behind just because we didn't perform well. And I can't take anything away from them. They played their butts off. Their quarterback, young quarterback, threw some absolute dimes tonight. So that's not the same team we played 2 weeks ago, that's for sure. He got a lot better. And they've got a lot of injuries too. We did too tonight, and we battled through and got a break at the end.
How about that fumble at the end?
They were trying to run the clock out, which, it was the right thing to do. Try to run it 3 times and try to score on 4th down. If they don't get it, then, we still got to drive the length of field with 20-something seconds. So, they were doing the right thing. It just didn't work out for them. It was a little bad luck for them.
You were frantically yelling, go down, go down.
Yeah.
Tough in a loud venue, I'm sure.
Yeah, but, that's things we'll learn from. We'll watch film on that, and in the heat of the moment, you got to think, we want to score with them, under 12 seconds. That's always our motto, and end of each half. With 12 seconds or less, and that gives them only a play or two, to run. So, but, it's hard to, I don't know if I'd have been able to take a knee there either, even been around the game so long, but all right, it worked out.
How do you build off of this?
Well, I think we'll look at it and, fix all our stuff. There's a lot of mistakes we made, and I think it came from, a lackluster week. We didn't really perform very well. We had a lot of injuries. Guys kind of, I think milked a little bit of that and didn't practice as hard as we should have, and that's some of me. I won't let that happen again. I think this will be a good lesson for him.
Did James get his wind knocked out of him?
No, he probably's got a little AC issue in there, but, I think he'll be fine.
So the secondary, defensive secondary, looked to get beat from time to time, but big time stops at the end. What's that say about you guys?
That's why they're here. Veterans and Rowe and Hollis, and now Jones is out. But we've got some guys that can step in. We think will get the job done. That's what I expect from them. I don't expect it to be that close at the end. We just got to play better and do our keys and do our jobs in the first part of the game and not let it get that out of hand for them like it did. So we'll fix it.
Would you say there's a target on you guys back now you're still undefeated?
Oh, yeah. I mean, whether we're undefeated or not, I think, when you're playing us, everybody wants to beat us. I think, from front office to owners to everything, we do it, right around here, and people want to, they want to get after us, and I would too. So I expect it.
And a big rival next week coming in at home, Cleveland, one of the legacy teams here. Especially
after last week, we didn't play well. They played their butts off as well. They're going to be better from that. And their quarterback's, he's rolling right now, and we gave him a ton of confidence last week for sure. So they'll come in with a lot riding on it, and they feel like they should have won that football game. So they'll have another chip on their shoulder too.
You mentioned some of the things to improve upon, but if there's one thing that you can improve upon, say the most, sitting here at 5-0 at top of the table, but
communication. We've done some uncharacteristic stuff as far as not being on the same page, front to back, and not protecting Dan, like we should either. I mean, we're still not anywhere close where we need to be. It's nice to be able to coach up, after wins, but we very easily could have lost that football game. I think we were down the whole night, except for the last 33 seconds. So, it's not good. We'll move on from it and get better, I hope.
How do you feel how to grind out some of these games like this?
Well, I don't like it. I'd rather blow people out, to be honest with you. But, I mean, it's tough to win by big margins or anything. It just is. You know, there's so many things that's, you know, for the offense to succeed. And, you know, we got them in third and fourth down a lot tonight and just couldn't get off the field like last week. So we've got to figure out how to get off the field on third and fourth down defensively.
Some good perspective from Clint Dolezel there after the comeback win against the Baltimore Brigade. And Eric, first time that I can remember, I don't have our statistician on us, but the first time that I can remember that the Soul were held scoreless in the first quarter of a game, trailed 14-0 after that first quarter, and were forced to make a comeback later on.
Yeah, no, it's a very infrequent. I think there was a playoff game where that happened maybe many years back. It's pretty tough to do. But it just shows you how difficult it is to sustain momentum in this game, because one or two mess ups and it's tough to come back. When you lose a few possessions or you have a few stops against you, you don't get many opportunities to make that up. But you know, you have the onside kicks and you have things. You know, somehow the Soul usually has magic to get that stuff done. But wow, that was difficult to watch.
And you certainly saw the Soul execute a few of the onside kicks last week. So, you know, when you're in that situation, you need a spark. Sometimes that's what coaches can do to make that happen. But I want to take a little bit of a detour and talk about one of the stars of last week's game and one of the stars of Philadelphia lore, Dan Raudabaugh, a guy that Ron Jaworski absolutely loves and, you know, has made calls on his behalf about playing football at a higher level. You know, hasn't gone that route, but a little bit of an unknown fact that he was the quarterback at Miami of Ohio in the years after Ben Roethlisberger, who's a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, future Hall of Famer clearly, and a two-time Super Bowl winner. Is Dan Raudabaugh a first ballot arena football absolute certain Hall of Famer at this point?
Well, that's a tough question, Bob. I mean, you would think that he is on a Hall of Fame trajectory. First ballot, I don't even know how they even do the ballot.
Right.
So that's kind of a hard thing. Do you know how they do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't actually.
But do I think he certainly is putting together the numbers and the rings, right now, you know, that would warrant that? Yeah, certainly.
I think
he
so,
certainly
too.
is, I would say, more 50-50 on the side of that happening. First ballot, I don't know. I don't know, but certainly
we won't hold you to that then.
Yeah.
I mean, he's putting himself in a position, Eric, where he has been the best quarterback in this league for a long time. And so when you dominate a course of a league for a long time, you know, that's where you put yourself in that discussion and in that way.
I don't see how he doesn't get there. I mean, unless his career gets truncated in some way or he starts playing poorly, which it doesn't seem that way. I mean, just the game last week, you saw a couple wonderful plays that he just pulled out of nowhere.
Yep,
and you know
that comeback.
Coaching maybe, but you need the right quarterback as well.
Right, without a doubt. And so I think he's on that trajectory. And now switching gears, Eric, from Dan Raudabaugh, let's talk about Arvell Nelson. Arvell Nelson, the quarterback of the Cleveland Gladiators, and a team and a guy that's very dynamic. Right near the bottom of the standings, Eric, but Arvell Nelson is a guy that does so many things both with his feet, the league's leading rusher, and his arms, one of the most efficient touchdown-to-interception ratios in the entire league.
Very clutch to be a double threat type of quarterback in this AFL, and he is going to learn how to do better in these close matches such as the one that they played in Cleveland recently. Okay, he's good when he starts winning those games and uses the talent that he has around him. He's going to be he could be a rookie of the year and he could be a big star in this league, you know. But I wouldn't let the first month record really throw you because he's a rookie, right?
He played last year as well. He played well as last, but didn't get a full season last year, and now finds himself, you know, thrown into the rigors of leading a team from start to finish essentially. And Arvell Nelson, a really quality quarterback that can give the Soul and any team a lot of trouble. These legacy teams, Tampa Bay, Cleveland, and Philadelphia, I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but don't just write off the Cleveland Gladiators because they find themselves near the bottom of the table. This is a very quality team, and Quentin Sims and Colin Taylor are two guys. Sims top touchdown getter in the Arena Football League and top yards getter in terms of wide receiver. And Colin Taylor, he was their third wide receiver last year, but really has become a key cog in that offense.
I mean, if you follow the history of Cleveland and Philadelphia in the AFL, you'll find out that they're the biggest thorn in the Soul's
Without a
side
doubt.
always. Okay, they've always been in playoff games. A couple of surprise losses that they put on the Soul, Cleveland. So yeah, I wouldn't count them out. Not in a 1-3, 4 games in the first month of a pretty long season. So yeah, I mean they seem to have the talent. They seem to be early on the team that's going to compete with the Soul for the big prizes. It seems that way to me. Anyway.
This is the Philadelphia Soul official pregame show, live on BLS and live from the Wells Fargo Center. We'll take our break, come back, give some concluding thoughts, and then it's time for kickoff. Welcome back. This is the Philadelphia Soul official pregame show, live from the Wells Fargo Center, home of the Soul. Bob Long, Eric Nash alongside. And now, Eric, before we go, who's your expected player of the week this week?
Okay. I'm gonna go with Mikkel again. One at a time I'm gonna be right, okay?
Ryan McDaniel.
No, Mikkel.
Oh, Michael Benson. I'm sorry.
Right. One of these days I'm gonna be right.
The big boy moving down the field.
Absolutely. Is
right,
that a possibility, or is that a fool's dream for me?
We'll just have to get Clint on the dial next week and say, feed the ball to
Yes.
Michael Benson.
Yes.
It might be a little bit too late for this game, which is about to begin, but we'll get him on the horn and see if we can draw Michael Benson into the game plan a little longer. No doubt a phenomenal player, and we'll be looking out for him tonight, as well as Dan Raudabaugh and the strong wide receiver core of the Philadelphia Soul. But for Eric, I'm Bob. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you next time on the Philadelphia Soul Video Pregame Show, live on BLS.